gorgeous teacher squad. I hope you're okay. I hope you had a lovely time in the sun. And, well, were you G'd up last week seeing all of them? It was gorgeous, wasn't it? And the photos I received of being in the class with the kids, they were truly heartwarming. Isn't it just lovely having them all around us? It's what keeps us alive. Now, I am truly, I'd said this to the kids, but I truly am singing with excitement to teach your classes next week. And don't worry if you're not doing this live lesson experience. Don't think you have to leave. You can stay, because I'll be talking about right stuff, and there'll be things I'll be talking about tonight that'll help the live lessons run smoothly. But actually, they will also help you if you're going it alone, or you can't squeeze it in, or there's things that just make it tricky to kind of teach alongside me. Now, that word partnership is really critical, actually. It's a really important part of why I wanted to hop on tonight, because quite literally it will fall on its face if I don't have you there backing me up, guys. And there are certain things I need you to do to ensure that it's slick and runs smoothly, and that's really where I wanted to explore tonight, those little moments where we can really be sure, I mean, this is truly team teaching, we can be sure that we get the best learning out of the little darlings. Right, well, by the time we hit Tuesday next week, you'll be in this enormous kind of unit plan family, and we'll be beaming into so many classrooms. In fact, we guesstimate at this stage probably about 20,000, could be more.
Pupils, not classrooms.
Pupils, not classrooms. Thank you, Mr. C. So kind of on a national scale, it's really fascinating. Now, what I want to do is tune you into a couple of things. If you are in the live lesson fandango, don't know if it should be called a fand. It feels like a fandango. Please hit me up at the end of the lesson with some of that. 30 is going to be a bit overwhelming, you know, like managing all of that. And when I was doing super sentence stackers, I mean, the guilt of the amount, and if you'd read them all and commenting, and it was just enormous. So I want you as teachers to give me kind of a little flavour of examples, yeah? And what I'm going to do every day as part of the lesson is showcase some celebrations. And quite literally, all I need you to do is twat, that's me, not you. Just take a photograph of their book at the end of the day. And you know, let me know their first name and what year they are, because remember, we've got a multitude of years. So, you know, if it's Maisie, year 4 at St Mary's and St John's, then I'll be able to showcase and celebrate her work. Also, just so that we get a sense of this, and I think this is really quite fascinating on this sort of comparative judgment thinking. We can begin to see what's happening around the country. Make sure we've got some 3 important hashtags. We've got hashtag Mrs. C, and it is worth, I mean, Considine, that's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? And there's a joke there, but I'm not going to go down that road. Hashtag live lessons and hashtag unit plan fam. These are the hashtags where we can begin to see, well, you know, what are other year 3s doing? What are other year 5s doing? And that's going to be really fascinating. So do get involved, and it would be great, wouldn't it, if then one of your kids' work is celebrated live in that lesson. That other thing as well, opening up to a real live school audience, worldwide audience, in fact. You know, I think we could be very impressed over the next few weeks by the quality of the writing, because we know what the science says about having a real audience and purpose, and it's going to be a wide audience over the next few weeks. Okay, just a reminder of my little, I think they're called handles for Twitter. Most of you are there showing me, like Paul, how he wakes up in the morning wearing his, teacher squad t-shirt, all coiffured. You know who you are. There's people sliding into me DMs with all the clothes shots. Yeah, love that. Facebook and Insta, I'm Jane Considine Education. Let me know about the work, and we can begin to analyse really kind of magical moments, because even though they're under my writing wing, we'll begin to see some of their very interesting and precise choices, and we can see how they've made it their own, and that's going to be utterly gorgeous. And I do truly get excited by what children are capable of when they have a pencil or a pen in their hand, and that, I think, that excitement is going to build. Now, so yes, celebration board, tell the kids about it. That is real, that is exciting. And we're going to actually see if we can have a few little celebration packs for the kids as well. So not only will they get on the board, we'll make sure that we get them a present as well. It's not going to be too highfalutin, but I'm sure it might be a glue stick. Do you know what I mean? It might be that good. Okay, now, obvious but worth saying, we start at 10:30 live AM BST, whatever that stands for.
British summertime.
Thank you, Mr. C, British summertime. And we've managed to definitely work out, it's how we upload things. If you are going to kick in at a later stage, like 11:15, because of stagger play times and all that jazz, you will be able to rewind and come in and rewind. Even if it's already on a continuum, you can rewind into it. Now, our plan is to keep these on Facebook until the 31st of October. And YouTube. Facebook and YouTube till the 31st of October. Can you hold things on Facebook, Mr.
Yes,
C?
yeah.
Yes. That's grumpy, Mr. C. Yes. He's in a right grump today. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. You putting your camera on, Mr. C?
No.
Oh, no, it's not. No, he's grump. No. That told you lot, did it? He's not going on camera. It's the first time he smiled all day. Right. What we're going to do is... what am I rambling on about? Oh, yeah, I know. We're going to try and hold them on there till the 31st of October. And, however... There might be some copyright issues, because we might be showing little clips and films and some they might pull us down. So just so you know, we're going to do our damnedest to keep them up there. We might get pulled down. If we get pulled down, we'll also host them, and I'll mention more about this later, on the Right Stuff training site, and I'll point you to that in a moment. Right, the other thing to say is, let's all be very, very gentle with each other as well, because we've got to just take on board recovery time, training kids up. Are they okay? Are we okay? I mean, it was quite tricky just getting dressed properly, wasn't it, for a week? We recognise that their pace might be a little bit off kilter, and it's going to take some time. So, lipstick on. I've had the international sign of lipstick on your teeth. Aren't you supposed to do that? I think so.
And also, what does that second word in purple say?
Oh, it says slick, Mr. C.
Suck to me.
Oh, you're in a right.
I thought you were trying to say that the lesson's going to suck. I thought you were being all American for our American audience.
Oh, I've still got lipstick on my teeth. Mr. C.
The lipstick's gone.
For sure.
Off your teeth, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you think you know by now.
Why do I wear? Why Why do I wear red? Actually, you know, you can tell we're sort of getting on now because he wouldn't have just left me being an idiot with lipstick on my teeth for the whole of the session. Anyway, oh.
Cheryl Clark says that her Mr. C, who is another C,
Yeah.
has been a grump today as well.
Oh, Mr. C's grumps around the world. Right, don't worry. I've got my real friend here. Not promoting being an alcoholic. But it, you know, gets you through it, doesn't it? Right, so lesson 1 and 2. Yeah, it might be, that's supposed to say slick, right? There. Because we've got to work on the pace, we've got to work on the smooth transitions. So it might not be perfect, but I'm hoping we can reflect by lesson 3, writing lesson, we've got it, they understand me, I understand them.
Team is working well
it's all working well. We all work well together. We get what I'm going to do. You get what you're going to do, and then the magic will happen. So if there's a bit of shonkiness Monday and Tuesday, we're going to ride it out for the bigger mission of training the kids. So just so you know where I'm going with that. Now, I know on Friday we uploaded, yeah, of course. On Friday we uploaded the narrative maps, and you've now got this map about Winston. You also know that we work with a plot point makes a writing lesson, and what we're going to do on Tuesday is start with the first plot point. We're going to reveal it slowly, and as part of the lesson, and we're going to drive that, we're going to watch little moments from the film. Okay, so we're going to control that and the pressures off you guys. Now, yeah, that is me saying, I've already said it, but worth saying again, because we're showing clips, we might get dragged off. So I'm hoping within a 24-hour space, we're going to get all of the up-to-date of that day films on the janeconsidine.com site. Mr. C, do you want to go on camera and say anything more about, well, just to check they can see how grumpy you are, and then check if there's anything else you want to say about that.
Yes, what were we talking about?
Like if it gets pulled off YouTube.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we don't know what's going to happen with YouTube, so it could well be that YouTube decide, oh look, you've shown a 40-second clip of the film, because we're going to show the clip to the class that you've shown a 40-second clip of the film. We might, find that it gets taken off. We don't know that that's the case as yet. I think that it depends really, because we're only showing a clip. We can't see it happening. However, if it does get taken off of YouTube, I think Facebook are a bit hotter on it than YouTube, so I think that's a greater chance. But we have got it on the back end of our janeconsidine.com site, so that is so all of this is a bonus product to all those people who have bought the Right Stuff online training. So all of the lessons are going to be sat in there. We were originally just going to leave these on YouTube for a day or for 36 hours, but considering that different schools around the world have got different half terms, we've decided, and they're all sort of coming up, some of them are coming up over that period, we decided to leave it to the end of October because some people can't start yet, they want to start in a couple of weeks. So that is the case as it stands at the moment. Hopefully they will sit on YouTube. If YouTube decides to whip them off, there's not really anything that we can do, I'm afraid. We just have to go with it. Can I put it back to you now, please?
Yeah. Okay. I hope you've already done this. If you haven't, you're still not too late. But I want you to download the Feast Unit. The Feast Unit is hosted in Year 4. I do know there are other year groups who are going to access it, and that's absolutely fine. But make sure you've got a copy of that and you become familiar with it. So, tomorrow, tuning in, do we know what we're doing? Well, just about. Monday the 14th, which is tomorrow, you guys are going to have a puppy party. Now, you might have a dog in school, you might have a puppy in school, Or if you can't facilitate that, then you're going to share lots of videos of dogs and discuss the impact they have in our homes and the richness they bring to our lives. If you go onto Teacher Squad on Facebook, we've got lots of puppy videos getting uploaded and sharing of doggy stuff. So that should be a really open conversation, lots of discussion of children who have dogs, don't have dogs, and all the positive benefits. Of course, I'm sure they'll share the negative parts of dogs in homes as well. And those of us with dogs know there are ups and downs. And the downs are often smelly and include rippings of furniture. But other than that, you know, that should be a really fun day, very visual, based in lots of discussion and giving us a good grounding. And as well, that other thing, you know, there will be some children who might be a bit scared of dogs, might need to explore that and discuss, you know, different emotions in relation to dogs. That's
can I, before you move on,
back on your camera, Mr.
I'm just saying, can I just quickly address, there's a couple of questions that come up here. People are saying, they're on about accessing the videos on our website. Yes, you do have to be a member of the Right Stuff Online Training. Why aren't you a member of that yet? But that is only as, that is going to be a worst case scenario. We actually don't envisage that it's going to be taken down. However, we're just giving people the heads up just in case. Mainly so I don't get 20,000, we think there's going to be 20,000 children, so I don't get 20,000 emails that I have to ignore. But that is what is going to be happening. But before you go on as well, could people just say in the chat if they've actually got dogs coming in tomorrow? Because that's what I'm really interested in. See if they've got any dogs that are coming in, puppies, pooing everywhere or whatever. Put you back to Jane.
Yeah. Bona fide dogs, as it were, real dogs, the real deal. Yeah, and actually, please, let us know what you're doing in class tomorrow. Let us know in the chat, but let us know
on
Twitter, Facebook, photographs. We hope to be awash with.
Lindsay Lou's got a dog coming in.
Oh, Lindsay Lou! I love that name, Lindsay Lou. Lindsay Lou, love it.
Jane, she's suffered for years.
Oh, I love it. She should be a country western singer.
We've got lots of pups going in. Melanie Davis.
Oh, Melanie.
Hugh McGrath.
Oh, Hugh. Everyone.
Elaine.
Hugh done it. Hugh done it.
So, Jane, Sandra Norman's got a Bernese mountain. Now, you won't know what a Bernese mountain is. Google it. They're like about the same size as a small hippo.
Bernese mountain. I think there's a clue in there with the word mountain. You know, the breed
I don't
name.
think they're called mountains because they look like a mountain. It's where they live.
Oh, I thought they're just like really big, like a mountain. Anyway, I won't embarrass myself with my lack of dog breed knowledge, but thank you. I want to see all the photos. I want to see all the dog love. You know, hook me into that for tomorrow. Right. Ooh, Prosecco. Right. Now, unit plans. They're going to be detailed like this. You know they're all detailed like this. This is the feast one. Every plot point, so here, breakfast in a new bowl, that's going to be the basis of Wednesday, when we work, day 3, when we work on that plot point. Broadly, I'm going to keep as close as I can to this, but be gentle with me if I do slight edits. You know, it says this in the plan, you did that, you know, we're all going to be very kind. Thursday, I just want to mention Thursday's experience day. Remember, on experience days, I'm not going to be around. There are 4 of them that are part of the feast unit, and you're in charge of them. The one on Thursday, the 17th of September, just be a bit cautious as we are ranking food for deliciousness. Be aware that you don't give kind of a message about healthy food is rank. Make sure that when we're ranking our top favourite tastes, we rank, let's say, 6 favourite healthy tastes. you know, raspberry coming at the top of this rank. And then,
Jan,
what?
Right, there's a
What?
number of people from
Right, you pick camera
yeah,
on.
there's a number of people from other countries that are
Yes.
watching this either now or later on. Could you please be less colloquial with your terminology? Because you're saying ranking and then rank. So when you say rank, talking about food, you mean it's not very nice. And when you're talking about ranking or rank the food, you're talking in a scale. So please be, you know, our American friends won't know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, I think, well, we can talk about homophones if you want, Mr. C, with rank and rank, but essentially we are doing continuums and scales of food, and, you know, we want to get the message across that rancid, you can still have unhealthy food that's not very nice, all the way up to being delicious and everything in between. So organise that how you want, have a lot of fun with that. For goodness sake, check out allergies. Some of my favourite food has nuts in it, you know, pecan toffee ice cream. So obviously do your homework, which I know we would with teachers. That's what we're constantly doing homework, aren't we? But that will be a really fun day. And then we work through here, and the next experience day is Wednesday the 23rd of September, where we talk about you know, being upset when our friendships break down. A very PSHE discussion about how we regulate our emotions and cope with negative times in our lives. And then Friday the 25th of September, on YouTube, from the film Love Actually, when Samuel runs through the airport to tell the girl in his class that he likes her. That is actually called Samuel's run scene, Love Actually. I'm just going to make a live edit here. If I know my class really well, I might have been able to get away with Jamie's proposal to Auralia in Love Actually, but I'm not going to be able to get away with that. So yeah, it's a bit too risky. So I'm just going to do a live edit there. But I think the run scene is enough actually, and in many ways replicates what we need it to do very purposefully for the feast. Mr. C.
Yes, there's a couple of questions here that are sort of like alluding to the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put Erin's up. And it's how can I make this all accessible to my lower ability year twos? Now, Erin obviously didn't watch the explanation video. So, Erin, go and watch the explanation video. It's in it's in this channel. But Jane will explain it very briefly for you.
Okay. Don't worry. Don't worry how old they are. Really don't worry. They will cope really well. If you feel that you, by lesson 1, you've got more kids than you'd hoped who would need some differentiation, then you're going to have to look at the lessons down the line to build, I suppose, differentiated thinking sides. And that's where you can put in words, sentence shapes, frames for children to knee them up to that moment. Okay. So I'm sure that you've heard me talk about low retainers before, where we will give them words, phrases, structures that we lace on their thinking side to knee them up. You'll be able to make that judgment because you know the children. Okay, right, I'm going to hop back up here because there's a few other things that I just want to have a chin wag about actually. Oh, yes. And this actually picks up from Erin's point about either young children where we feel like the pitch might be a bit tricky, where what we want to think about is the stuff we're going to put in place to get them there. And then our bright, quick writers, you know, who I've sent them off to write. Every time I send kids off to write, I'll be putting timers on the screen. And we've got a whole bank of timers that I'll be making live judgments about. Sometimes I'll put 20 seconds on the screen. Sometimes I'll put 40 seconds. Sometimes I'll put 2 minutes, depending on the challenge. Now, remember, when it's on writing side and they're writing sentences, and I'm asking them to go under the wing of my model, and you've got some really bright, quick writers, I'm going to ask you guys, not me, you guys to run some Deepen the Moment challenge boards. Now, what I suggest you do is have no more than, can you see all of that on the screen, Mr. C? Or is it a bit, okay. Yeah. Have no more than 3 a day. And this really isn't a requirement for all children. This is only for the kids who finish early and a clock is ticking and they might have 30 seconds left. And this is you as a teacher saying, my kids will cope independently, building a sentence without plot pushing, just saying more about the moment we're on. They would cope with writing a sound sentence or a question or using repetition for effect in the style that we used last week, maybe 3 ing words back to back. Now, only put things on there that your kids will cope with by themselves. And equally, I'm not worried if we don't get to Deepen the Moment. You know, it might be only one child who needs that. And it might be no children use it until we get slick on transitions, till we're on day 7. So I just want it to be there for the children that need it. And they need to understand how to use it. You can't just expect it to happen. So only put up a Deepen the Moment challenge board if they know how to deepen the moment, basically. Okay, and that I do need your help with. I am not going to be running Deepen the Moment challenges. Deepen the Moment challenges kick in when there is time left for them personally. They have reread their work, checked their spelling, liked what they've done, and they've still got time before the next learning chunk kicks in to drop in another sentence. So that needs some thinking about. Yes, Mr. C, any questions?
Sandra Graham's just asking the easiest way to download the unit plans.
Right, the easiest way to download the unit plans is the Feast unit plan is in the paid part of janeconsidine.com. And so a single user license is £25. You can purchase it and then you get access to all the unit plans for a year and you can download Feast. Okay, so that's how you get your mitts on Feast. What I'm going to be doing every day, starting from Tuesday, after that first experience day, I am going to tell the children what the steps to success are for that lesson. And that is when I'm going to introduce a lens from the ideas of writing, one of the 9 fantastics, maybe a grammar for writing.
Or maybe not.
Or maybe not. I'm not doing this in this order. Or maybe a boom, a technique of writing.
Can I just say, you really
Yes.
need to make that clear because...
What?
That it could be 3 ideas, it could be 3... Because a lot of people get mixed up with that, and that's sort of things that I'm dealing with queries.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be one of each. It could be 2 of one of another.
Basically, I will choose anywhere on the writing rainbow. I could choose that, I could choose that, and I could choose that. Where I choose from, so that might be what I choose on day 1. On day 2, I might choose this, this, and this. So I can choose in any order from anywhere. Sometimes I do a double whammy. So I'm writing a smell sentence and it's a question. You know, I might show the children that I'm crossing across two areas there. So, you know, we'll be somewhere on that rainbow, and sometimes we do a double whammy, okay? Sometimes we do a triple whammy. But don't worry about that. That is, as long as I almost see that like the periodic table, and we're going to be stepping into it and combining things together and exploring different aspects, and then seeing the writing concoctions that we can make. Yes, Mr. C.
I'm sorry, can we just pick up a couple of questions while we're going?
Yeah, if you put your camera on.
Right, okay. So well, you don't need my camera, I need you.
Yeah, because I can hear you.
Question number one, right, is, and I've sort of answered it on here. It says, I don't think they'll understand what an adverbial phrase is. I was going to give them a frame and they just add an adverb for shone, etc. brightly. I'm just wondering whether Jane will explain the challenge at their level, and that's from Sharon Kane Simmons. Now, what I've sort of said in response, you're going to be teaching in context. They, as teachers, can supplement Jane's teaching in the classroom that is most appropriate to your level. So that's question one. Question two is, how would you suggest providing support for the lowers? But I think you've just answered that. Would it be prepared by the teacher? So you might have stickers in books, you might have, yeah, but it could be the teacher, couldn't it? So I'm going to let you move on, answer them quickly, and then I've got a couple more as well while we're at it.
Okay. Number one, I don't think they'll get it. You might be right. They might not get it. And this is also the tricky thing about me teaching remotely. They might not get it. I am going to do my damnedest, and I mean that, to, rather than zoom out from grammar or anything that's tricky and doing this sort of global definition of things, we are going to make words come to life in context of the feast. And as long as they have at the forefront of their mind this little puppy and the puppy's perspective and words that are important for this story, the rest we're going to worry about less. I'm not worried about it. I think they might surprise you, and Mr. C is really right in what he's just said there as well, that there'll be things where you think, oh, I don't think they'll be very good at that, and they might not be. Fine. It's not supposed to be perfect. Learning isn't perfect. It's a bit chunky around the edges sometimes, a little bit messy around the edges. That's okay. There might be things where the kids are, I've set you off on a timer and the kids are asking you questions. Answer them. That's fine. That's all part of that sort of that interface between me and you and them. That will happen. But equally, your lower retainers, if you're thinking there is no way my lot are going to get this, it's helping them before we hit that moment and thinking about stuff that can get stuck on their thinking side that can knee them up. You know, words, bits and bobs, frames that might help them. But before we worry about, I think this is probably a reflection of, let's see how Tuesday goes, and then we can make a judgment. Yeah? I am going to be working with the kids like this, just so you know. I'm going to be working thinking side and writing side. And I'm going to call it thinking side and writing side. What I need you guys to do is, when I am writing on thinking side, you are also writing on a whiteboard, on a flip chart, on some big paper, thinking side words alongside me. You are going to mimic exactly what I am doing in your room. Why do we need that? We need that because the format I'm going to be working on isn't going to be able to show the whole of thinking side and writing side all at the same time. And they need to see where you write it is you showing them that they have access to the words alongside me and they understand where they're going to put those words. This is where the partnership really needs to kick in. So you need to find a space in your classroom where children can see all of this at once, thinking side and writing side. Some of the things I'll be doing as part of thinking side. I'm going to be doing something called word collector. Now, word collector is me as teacher talking words. What I'm asking them to do at the point of when I say I'm now playing word collector, I want you also to help your children count how many words I talk. So I might even say to them, we're going to play word collector. There are 5 words to collect. How many can you collect? How many can you remember? And I will say 5 words and they listen and count how many they've got. I am lacing the learning with language that is well beyond their vernacular that they've come up with themselves so that we can move from word collector instantly into chotting. Now, this is the screen we're going to use with the kids. Chot. Mr. C is going to put timers on that. It might be 20 seconds, 40, might be a minute. It's not going to be long. It's going to be really pacey. And chotting is where they are expected to chat and jot. They're going to write their ideas on the thinking side. And when I teach on Tuesday, in the corner of my page, every time I ask them to do something on a thinking side, I am going to show them what chunk they're on. So this is going to be me saying to them, I want them to put their ideas there, learning chunk 1, thinking side. I'm going to ask them, I'm going to use this language with them. I want them to be brave spellers. I don't want them ever to not write something that they're scared of the spelling of it. And I'm going to call it, I want them to be brave, best bet spellers. That they're going to sound words out and they're the best bet they think it is. Yeah? It might not be right, but I don't want them not to use it. And the other thing I want you to be aware of is, oh God, lipstick up my face, no. Oh my goodness. Right. Go and get me some tissue, Mr. C. I'm having a right nightmare. Here, I might ask them to cut up their thinking side. Okay? So I might ask them to do this. So let's say this is learning chunk 1. I might ask them to cut it into 3 parts, like doing that. Because we might need to do word collector, chotting, kind calling out, for words to describe the night. Then I might need them to do word collector, chotting, and kind calling out to describe the pavement. And then we might need to go through the whole process again to describe the food before we even hit writing side. So sometimes we hang around thinking side for quite a while because we need 3 word banks. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It does to me, but what I want you to be aware of is when we're on thinking side, I might say to your children, and this is where you can help me with little things, little procedural things like this, where I might say, oh, learning chunk 1, can you cut it into 3 parts? Can you cut it into 2 parts? And that means I need you know, 3-word banks, 2-word banks. Before we can even get to the writing, we always need more words, not less words. Okay? When it's kind calling out, you are going to collect the words in the room. You're going to write them down, and I'm not going to be there. You're going to write them down. And you might have 30 or 40 seconds to write these words down. Okay? There'll be timers. You'll be writing their ideas, and what you'll have in your room is this sort of thing. By the end of it, all these words here, and then sentences. Think inside, write inside, think inside, write inside. And I need you to do that for me, because they need a visible, ever-present model that they are leaning on, because I can't host all the learning chunks and the sentences all at once. So you very much are a live writer in your room from the children's ideas. The other thing, and you know, it might not be perfect on Tuesday, but they'll get better and better at it. The other thing I want you to help them with is letting kids know that when kind calling out is happening, well, the thing about kind calling out is kind. You know, they've got to be polite and find a space in the teaching and learning to give their ideas in. You know, shout them out in the class, right? There's no hands up. That's why we're able to do it quite quickly. But the other job they have to do, this is the children, they have to do audit and add-in. And audit and add-in is a bit like bingo. So when words have been shouted in the room, audit and add is training the kids to, oh yeah, I got glimmering when I chotted. I got shiny. I got golden. I didn't get glistening. And I've just heard that, and I'm going to write glistening down. Audit means you tick it off. Add it means you add it in. And we also add words that the teacher might not have heard, but they've heard. Do you have any questions about thinking side in terms of those 3 areas? Number 1, that you might have to cut your page up, and you'll have to train your kids about what I mean by cutting the page up. Number 2, we need them to understand how to chot, but they can chot. Sometimes I'll get them to chot without word collector. Sometimes I'll get them to chot with word collector. And that happens before. Sometimes I think they don't need word collector, they should be good at this. Sometimes I put word collector in there where they have to listen. And then thirdly, I want them to kind call out and audit and add. Are there any questions about that, Mr. C?
Well, not a question, there's a point from Laura.
Yeah.
And she said that...
Put your camera on, people can hear you better.
She said that she tried some kind calling out, but her Year 6 class found it really difficult not to put their hands up. They will get used to it, especially given the death glare. They will get used to it, and it's obviously verbal, isn't it? So you won't even be looking at them because you're going to be writing like crazy on the board all the brilliant words that they're throwing out. Sharon says that it's all clear. Okay. Victoria's talking about scissors in their work boxes. I'm not sure exactly what she means. Can I put it back to you, please?
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so essentially, they love a hands up. They love a hands up because we love a hands up over the years. They just want to do the right thing. And I think it's really trying to speed it up there. There's lots of good ideas, and we've got to release them quickly into the room. I often have my pen on a board and go, yeah, and, and if you look at them, they just think, but it's almost like if you're side on and you're just waiting for words, then they know they can make your pen move as the words hit the pen tip. It kind of rattles through. Whereas if you turn to show me you're ready, it kind of just muds it all up a bit and slows it down. So yeah, I mean, I do feel sorry for kids in that sense, the fact they're so reliant on hands up, but it's sort of a behaviour strategy that sort of gets in the way of speeding up language, and we want to speed, collect, and rattle some pace under it.
Victoria Arnold's year 2 cheered when you said you were doing can't calling out.
Oh, that's cute. Now, shadometers. We're going to be using lots of shadometers. Some of your kids will have their own in their book, which is gorge. Some of you will have A4 shadometers, which means they can practice. I know that. That number, and kids can write their ideas here and look at intensity of language. But don't worry if they haven't got those. We will still be sorting some words out into intensity. Talking about words, you choosing the best word for the job, being really precise, and we lean on the shadometer when we're thinking about thesaurus thinking. So these are some of the terms that I'll be using in the teaching as well. Thesaurus thinking. So it is worth talking to children about that. In my experience, most kids have got their head around that already. But the thing is as well, we've got to just I'm glad I wrote suck, actually. We've got to suck it and see, haven't we? It's going to be a bit like, oh, my kids were brilliant at that and really surprised me, and it's going to be fine. And that, whoa, we need to work on that. And that bit, I can't do for you, but it'll be interesting to see what they do really well and what they need help with. And actually, that'll be a really personal bit of diagnosis. It might be that we do a little bit of that on Tuesday. What were your kids really good at? Ooh, what was a bit shonky? And now that pattern of shonkiness, Mr. C is quite good at, crunching numbers and grids and Excels and everything. And he might say, actually, that was a pattern, Jane. Kids, they all found that really tricky. That is good feedback for me, because that is me thinking, right, well, on a national level, we need to slow that down. On a national level, I need to explain that more. Don't overwhelm me with all your shonkiness, but broadly, we can begin to see things that need a bit of firming up, and then I can respond. So that could be something that we keep talking to each other, and then I can be aware of that in terms of how it rolls. Anything else, Mr. C, you want to say? I've still got lipstick up my face.
You got little, but you can't see it now. Because I've made you really small. Right, Melanie Davis has got an interesting comment. She said, I found the hand gel we've all got everywhere cleans up the shadometers really well at the end of the day. Unexpected bonus.
Yeah, good, cool. So yeah, if you're sanitising regularly at many points in your teaching and learning, then slap a bit on your shadometer. QVC saleswoman, boom.
That's a class. So if people haven't got them, they're a class set.
You get class
36,
set.
36, but I can't remember how much they are, but they're not much.
Yeah, 36 class pack. Right.
Yeah. Kerry just said, do Americans use shonky? Yes, they do. They will do by the end of this next 3 weeks.
Do Americans use rank? I think they do, Ian. And they use shonky. We're going to be okay. Do you know what I mean? I'm walking here. Right, see my thinking. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do a lot of this. I'm going to say that to the kids. See my thinking. Look inside the writer's brain. I'm going to change and tussle with words. I'm going to reject and sharpen. So they're going to see me do lots of demonstration writing. And at those moments, you know, they will write stuff feels from a kid's perspective very much like this, but the moments are listen with intent, talk, be lively, listen, talk, listen, write, talk. You know, it's going to be really clear what they have to do, and there's never going to be anything like this long rambling. Like when I train teachers, it's like, oh, yeah, not much fun at all. Go and have a chat with yourself, Jane. Do you know what I mean? It's just like rumble up. It's not going to be like that. It's not going to be like this. It's not going to be as messy as this. No way. It's going to be very clear. Going to be clear what their roles are, and with time, they'll just be so certain about what they have to do. So I think, again, we could just keep talking about this and be like, I don't get it. What about this bit? They'll be awful. Oh, I'm really nervous. To actually, let's just chill. Let's expect there might be a few messy bits.
Bit of teething at the beginning.
Bit of teething problems. But it will get better and better and better. You tell me what was shonky. I'll take that feedback and I will respond to some of your things you're saying. And then we can only do our best. But together, you know, great things will happen. I'm certain of it. I've worked hard that everything I'm going to include is about the science of learning. So everything I'm going to do is going to have absolute clarity for them. And we'll take it from there. Right. This isn't set in stone. You know how I feel about independent writing. You're in charge of that, not me. I'm just going to now give you a roll call of some of the things you might do when this unit is over. So, the first one I recommend there is what I call a continuation, where you basically watch the whole of the credits and that becomes the stimulus for them writing about Winston the dog's relationship with the baby and the birthday party. That's what I call a continuation. So I'll get you to the moment of the boy and the baby become friends, and then you and the kids go off and write the rest of the joyous time they have together. Yeah. Winston finds another stray dog. Well, this could be Winston or the man finds another stray dog. Winston finds another stray dog and falls in love. It could be Lady and the Tramp vibes. Or the man finds another stray dog and brings one home. I mean, they're quite complicated. The son breaks friends with somebody at school and Winston reunites them. I quite like this. I also, you know I'm a fan of the big idea. What's the big idea in the story? Well, basically that Winston loves his new home. So now you write another story where a pet loves their new home. You know, these are the two that I'm a fan of. This one, the continuation story, and the big idea story. However, another good one is this, because you've got the plot under your belt. Retell the story from the male owner perspective. So, what's the man's name? And we replay it all again, but his view on it. And that's a really good one too.
Did you make it clear that's the teachers are going to be dealing with that independent? You're not going to be sending them off on independent. Did you make that clear? I wasn't listening at the time.
I don't think, Mrs. C, like, good point, well made. I don't think I have made it clear. You know what I mean? Most things in my life where I think I've been crystal clear. The truth is, I've been under a fog of Prosecco. I don't really know if I made it clear at all. The point is, I'm going to be in your classroom for about 3 weeks, maybe a bit less. I'm not very good at date and time.
It is a
bit less. When I've finished holding their hand, teaching, you, not me, you guys are going to help them go through a sequence to independent. You're going to give them a blank planner. You're going to give them some success criteria from the Writing Rainbow, and you're going to get them to draw the key plot points and write a story with highs and lows. A plot point will make a paragraph, and you'll organise the time. Oh, I'll put 10 minutes on the clock for you to write plot point 1. If you might say, right, kids, I want you to write a 5 plot point story. They'll write a 5 little mini paragraph story. That bit you're in charge of. And you might say, I'm going to ring fence this amount of time to move through that sequence. In the unit plan, I give some guidance on how to build a good independent sequence. And on the Right Stuff training, I spend a whole day training people on how to be good at independent writing. I mean, I was clear on that day. I'm probably not being clear now, but the independent writing is your department. Yeah? Okay. Is that clear? Don't know. One of the things I'm letting you know, but don't let the kids know, that one day when I feel, right, we've got this vibe in around the globe, everyone knows what they're doing, we're going to have a guest appearance from Grandma Fantastic. I know a lot of people think she's just for the younger kids, but she don't care. She wants to get involved. So Grandma is going to pop in on one of the days to up the ante on the language. Boom. So yeah, she's making a guest appearance. And other than that, I think that's us done. I want you to enjoy it, and I mean that. I want you to keep talking to us, and I also mean that. I want to feel from you the puppy bomb though, and whether they're smelly mutts or cute pups. I want to feel that tomorrow. All the dogs around the land, and I think we're practically done. I will not see you Monday. I will see you next Tuesday. Never quote me out of context. And other than that, I think that's the end of tonight's session. I love you guys. Professionally love, of course, not that sort. I am really excited to go hand in hand with you next week and team teach. Remember, you've got to do all the bits I can't do, which is, thank you, hands above the table, don't eat your bogies, there's a good boy, Oscar. You've got to do that bit, okay? You know the kids. I'm going to do straight down the line teaching and learning, and please make sure you send in the work. Let me see it so I can celebrate it.
Just review the hashtags and all that sort of thing, because that's how we're going to find it.
Yeah, so review of hashtags, just so you know, we have got Mrs. C, we've got live lessons, and we've got unit plan, fam. Don't worry if you're not in the unit plan, fam, and you're not going to have me every day in your classroom. You can still tag me in work that your kids have produced if you're picking up a unit plan by yourself, because really the writing and the quality of it is what keeps me going. So have a lovely rest of your evening. Thank you for dropping in. Love you loads, Teacher Squad, and see you next week.